Okay, so we've been working these last few weeks on our strumming primarily, and on really liberating and making our right hand independent, so that it can operate on its own, our strumming hand independent. So let's just go ahead and jump in with the exercise. We're not going to spend all day in it, but let's jump into the exercise that we have been working on. And here comes Sean. Wow, we really are going to have the whole gang. Okay. Let's do something different that we can really just strum on.
Speaking of that, Rabbi, are we going to do the Kabbalah Shabbat again, or is that over?
We're certainly going to do something where we have a chance to all play together. So I don't know what that'll look like, but we will certainly do something. Okay, let me make this go away. Let's play Jolene. We haven't played Dolly in a while. Okay, so just going over our chords quickly. We have our D minor chord. We have our C chord. We have our C7 chord. C7 just with that index finger. We have our B flat chord. We've reminded ourselves the last few weeks, but if you're having trouble with B flat, move that whole thing out. Move that neck outwards so that your wrist angle changes. That'll help with your B flat. And then we have our F chord, just two fingers. So going over it again, we have C, D minor, C, C7, B flat, and F. All pretty straightforward chords that we've been dealing with for a while, other than the B flat always causes us trouble no matter what. Okay, so let me move my fretting hand. Maybe we'll move it up. We know those chords better. Okay. We'll start with just single strum for each chord. So let's make sure we're counting in our heads. 1, 2, 3, 4, and 1, 2. Here we go. 3, 4, D minor, and F, 4, and C. 2, D minor, 4, and C. 2, C7, 4, D minor, 2, 3, 4, D minor, 2, and F, 4, and C. 2, D minor, 4, and C. 2, C7, 4, D minor, 2, 3, 4. Okay, did that make sense how we're doing that? So we've got 2 beats on the D minor and the F at the beginning, 2 on the C and the D minor, and then 2 on the C and the C7. And then at the end of each line, we sit on the D minor for a full 4 count. Okay? So let's do that again. 2, 3, 4, D minor, 2, and F, 4, and C. 2, D minor, 4, and C. 2, C7, 4, D minor, 2, 3, 4, D minor, 2, and F, 4, C. 2, D minor, 4, and C. 2, C7, 4, D minor, 2, 3, keep going, D minor, 2, and F, 4, and C. 2, D minor, oh, yep, sorry, I messed that up. It's the same counting. Let's do that again. Third line. 3, 4, D minor, 2, and F, 4, and C. 2, D minor, 4, and C. 2, C7, 4, D minor, 2, 3, 4, D minor, 2, and F, 4, and C. 2, D minor, 4, and C. 2, C7, 4, D minor, 2, 3, 4. Okay, how'd that feel? With just one strum. Okay, so now let's go ahead and make our strums a little more complicated. So we're going to add in down, up, down, up, down, up, down, up. So now we're going to strum on each of the beats, right? We're going to do 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, Here we go. Jolene, Jolene. Oh, sorry. No. Don't say 1, 2, 3, 4. Say 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and. So whenever we're saying and, we're going up. When we're saying a number, we're going down. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2. Here we go. 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and C and 2 D minor 4 and C and 2 and 7 4 D minor 2 3 4 D minor 2 and F 4 C 2 D minor 4 and C 2 C 7 4 D minor 2 3 4 D minor 2 and F 4 C 2 D minor 4 and C 2 C 7 4 D minor 2 3 4 D minor 2 and F 4 C 2 D minor 4 and C 2 C 7 4 D minor 2 3 4. Okay, how'd that feel? Yep. Okay, now double the speed. Down, up, 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 down, up. Here's what we're gonna say, and you should say this with me. 1E and a 2E and a 3E and a 4E and a 1E and a 2E and a 3E and a 4E and a... We can slow this down just a little bit, and just to be clear, I'm saying 1E and a. Those are the 4 counts. 1E and a. 1E and a 2E and a 3E and a 4E and a 1E and a 2E and a 3E and a 4E and a 1E and a 2E and a 3E and a 1E and a 2E and a... Here we go. Jolene, 2, F, C, 2, D minor, 4, C, 2, C7, 4, D minor, 2, 3, 4, D minor, 2, and F, 4, C, 2, D minor, 4, and C, 2, C7, 4, D minor, 2, 3, 4, D minor, 2, and F, 4, C, 2, D minor, 4, and C, 2, C7, 4, D minor. Okay, now let's go back to the beginning and we're going to cut it in half. Down, up, down, up, down, up, down, up. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2. Here we go. D minor and F, 4, D, C, 2 and F, 4, C, 2, C7, 4, D minor. 1E and a, double it again. 1E and a 2E and a 3 and a G minor, 2 and F, 4, C, 2, D minor, 4 and C, 2, C7, 4, D minor. Now just one strum, D minor, 2 and F, 4 and C, 2 D minor, 4 and C, 2 C7, 4 D minor. Okay. How do we feel about that?
Something good for me to practice.
Okay, there you go. Good. Good. That's a nice aspirational way of saying it.
Singing with it helps too.
Yeah. Sing. I really encourage singing it. Sing what I am singing, because it's gonna. Right. One of the things we'd like to happen is that voice that's counting ends up being a voice in the back of your head, even when you don't want it to be. You'll know that you're there when you're listening to music, and you can't help yourself from counting the beats as you're listening. Something comes on the radio or whatever it is. That's how you'll know you're there. Sean, you look like you were going to say something.
I was just going to say that the really fast one is really fast. And it's a little too fast for me at the moment.
Yep. So if you're having trouble with that speed, what you really need to do is get looser in your wrist and make smaller movements. Ray does a really nice job of it if you watch what Ray does with his hand. The faster speed is actually a much smaller, looser movement. Let me turn on the sound so you can hear it differently. Right, now I'm going to go to the half speed. And do you see how much firmer the half speed is in my wrist? And how much longer even the oscillation is of what's happening there? Whereas it gets pretty gentle, actually. And whereas on the 1 and 2, I'm going almost to the bottom and the top of the bouts, meaning that, right, these parts. When I am doing the 1E and a 2E, and I'm really trying to stay pretty close just on here. And my finger is entirely relaxed, and it's just my wrist that is sending my finger across the strings when I'm doing the faster one. When it's slower, more of the work is coming from your finger. I don't know if that helps, but any other thoughts on that exercise? Okay. Well, would we rather do some blues? Would we rather go back and work on the Here Comes the Sun lick and our finger picking?
I like the blues.
Blues it is. Okay, let's play blues in a few different keys. Okay, here we go. Okay, just a reminder, since it's been a while, about what it is that we are playing when we play the blues. We have been learning what's called the 12-bar blues, which is the basis of really much of American music, whether you are talking about blues or rock and roll or country music or folk music or almost anything in that genre or in those broad genres of Americana are based on the blues, and primarily on the 12-bar blues. And we've heard it so many times that somewhere inside of us it is sitting there. So this is what the 12-bar blues looks like. Nope. This is what the 12-bar blues look down. I know it's going to be confusing here if you're not used to this chart, but this is the 12-bar blues. It's in 3 different parts. Those are the 3 lines. And these Roman numerals tell us chord numbers. You don't need to really understand it, other than we have a chart over on this side to help you convert. So if you're in the key of C, if you look over on this chart, just look for the line where the 1 is the C, the I is the C. Then your 4 chord, the IV chord, is going to be the F, and your 5 chord is going to be the G. Generally, in blues, these are 7th chords, meaning we're adding the 7th note in the chord. Just as a reminder, most chords are the 1, the 3, and the 5. So if you're playing a C chord, for instance, it's the C, the E, and the G, right? C, not the D, the E, not the F, and the G. The 1, the 3, and the 5. C, E, G in a C chord. And then when you add in the 7, you are, again, you're skipping the 6, the A, and you're adding in a B. Here, a B flat sometimes, depending on whether it's a major 7th or a regular 7th, but that's a different issue. So these are 7th chords, and we're going to play the 1, the 4, and the 5 in the key. So the C key chord, the F chord, and the G chord. So looking back down, the 12-bar blues is 1-4-1-1. That's the first line. 4-4-1-1, and then 5-4-1-5. So if we're doing this in the key of C, where C is the 1 chord, then it's going to be C, F, C, C for the first line, F, F, C, C for the second line, and G, F, C, G for the third line. Does that make sense? Any confusion on any of that? I know it's kind of confusing, but just want to check in. No, we got that? Okay. So then our 3 chords that we are going to have here are going to be our C, and you can play a C, a regular C if you'd like, or a C7. The C7 is over there on the chords above the line. C7 is just the index finger on the 1st fret. That's the C7. But on any of these, if you'd rather not play the 7th chord, you don't have to play the 7th chord and it'll sound fine. Play it as a 7th chord, it's going to sound bluesy. Play it without the 7th chord, and it's going to sound folky or country. So our C or our C7. And then our 4 chord is going to be our F. The way to play an F7 is just to play an F and then add in that ring finger on the 3rd fret in between on the C string. But you can also just play a regular F. If you're having trouble with it, really switch between the F and the F7. F, F7, just take that finger, put it up and down. Go ahead and try that, everyone. Play your F, and then just take that ring finger up and down. So it feels comfortable. And then G7. Okay, so here's the G chord we are used to. And G7 is a totally different fingering, so unfortunately you can't switch between them super easily. Here's the G7, of course. These two notes stay the same, right? Here's a G chord and here's a G7. It's only that string in the middle that's switching, but the way you fret it with your fingers is different. So I recommend taking an F chord to practice getting to the G7, to have an F chord, and then move the middle finger down. And then you're basically at a G7, just dropping the ring finger after that. And then back to the C. Okay, so those are our chords. Let's go ahead and play some blues with them. And we're going to do our strumming work as we're doing that. So here we go now. And 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and F and 2 and 3 and 4 and C and 2 and 3 and 4 and C and 2 and 3 and 4 and F and 2 and 3 and 4 F 2 3 4 C 2 3 4 C 2 3. Now G 2 3 4 and F 2 3 4 and C 2 3 4 G. Okay, now let's double our speed. Triplets, aren't I? Sorry, I'm making this complicated. Yeah, I'm playing triplets. Yep. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1. Here we go. And C 2 3 4 and F 2 3 4 and C 2 3 4 and C 2. Okay, now we're gonna double the speed. So go to your C chord. So let's just count it for a second before we double. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2. Here we go. 1E and a 2E and a 3E and a 4E and a 1E and a 2E and a 3. I can slow it down a little bit. 1E and a 2E and a 3E and a 4E and here we go now in C. 3 4 and F 2 3 4 and C 2 3 4 C 2 3 4 and F 2 3 4 and F 2 3 4 C 2 3 4 C. Now G 2 3 4 and F 2 3 4 and C 2 3 4 and G. Okay, let's go back to 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and... Okay, now we're going to emphasize the ands. Here we go. 1. Oop, hold on 1 second, y'all. Sorry. Hey. Sorry. I'm good. Yeah, I really appreciate... Oh, yeah.
Really appreciate it.
Thank you. Appreciate you all. Oh, sorry, what'd you say?
You're a really genuine person.
Oh, really appreciate you all. Thank you. Okay, sorry about that. Okay, so let's get back to that. C and 2 and 3 and 4 and C and 2 and 3. Maybe maybe I'll give you my or my strumming hand instead of my C and 2 and 3 and 4 and... Okay, now we're going to emphasize the ands. Here we go. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and C and F. Back to C. C and F. And F to C. Now G, G, and F, and C, and G, back to C. Okay, how did that feel?
That always feels so strange to me. That was one of the things I was trying over the last week, and it just, I don't know. I can't seem to get a handle on it.
Okay, put on Bob Marley's "No Woman, No Cry"
Okay.
and play along to it.
All right. Do I need the chords or just?
It's the same as Hashki Venu: C, G, A minor, F. Whole way through. It's the same song. In fact, there's that. You'll find those YouTube videos of someone playing, 17 different songs in a row with just those chords. But yeah, put that on. Put on some reggae and play along to it.
Cool.
Yep. Other thoughts? Other honorees on the moon? Okay, so let's do the same thing. And now we are going to be in the key of A. Okay, so let's just go ahead and talk this over again like we did before, where in the key of A, look at that chart above us over here. In the key of A is going to be your 1 chord. That's the definition. The name of the key is the 1 chord, A. The 4 chord, A, B, C, is going to be the D chord, right? That's the 4. And the E is going to be the 5. And we can see that above there, that in that first line, it's just A, D, E. Okay, these are going to be 7th chords because we are playing blues. So A7, one of the easier chords we have, just your index finger on the C string on the 1st fret. As a reminder, if you're forgetting the names of the strings, good children eat asparagus, G-C-E-A. I had it with apples with the kids that I teach, and none of them could remember it. And the moment I changed it to asparagus, everyone remembers it. Good children eat asparagus. So the G-C-E-A, the C string, that's the 2nd string down, 1st fret, 1st finger, that's your A7. Okay, now we've got our D7. So to get to your D7, I recommend using your 2nd and your 3rd finger. Put your 2nd finger on the G string on the 2nd fret, just like you're playing an A minor chord. And then take your ring finger and put it 2 strings below that. You're going to skip the C string and you're going to put on the E string. You can also play this with your 1st and your 2nd fingers if that's more comfortable to you. But I think the 2nd and the 3rd finger is easier, actually. Not to mention that it's easier to switch from the A7 to the D7 when you play the A7 with your 1st finger and the D7 with your 2nd and your 3rd. And then it's a lot easier if you played it that way to switch to the E7. So if you're on your D7, take both of the fingers and move them down a string, or up a string, I guess, or whatever direction you call that, so that your middle finger is on the C string and your ring finger is on the A string, the string closest to your toes. And then you take your index finger and put it on the 1st fret on the 1st string, the G string right here. And this E7 should sound like this. And I say it every time I play this, but it is my favorite chord on the ukulele. I think there's just a great sound to it. Okay, so let's go through those again. We've got our A7. A7's index finger dominant. We've got our D7, which leads with the middle finger. Then we've got our E7, which again leads with the 1st finger. Back to A7. Let's do that in a circle again. A7 to D7 to E7, back to A7. And again, A7 to to D7, to E7, back to A7. Okay, we comfortable with those chords? Okay, here we go. Okay, so I figured out what I was doing before. I was playing in 6/4 time, but we'll do that in a second. Let's start in 4/4 time. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4, and here we go. Now A7, 2, 3, 4, D7, 2, 3, 4, A7, A7, D7, D7, 2, 3, 4, A7. E7 to D7 and A7. Turn it around on E7. Let's just do that third line again. I think that was going to be tougher for people, so let's just go through that. We start with the E7 to the D7. Practice that move. Go from E7 to D7. E7 to D7. E7 to D7. You can feel that all that's happening is your index finger is lifting up and your other two fingers are moving up. E7, D7, A7. It's actually, once you get it down, it's a really slick, low movement kind of transition, right? You keep your hand basically in the same place the whole time. E7, D7, A7. Right? C to G to F is way more movement of your hand that you're having to move around. These are less familiar chords for us. But, right, E7 to D7 to A7. You see my thumb doesn't even move. Okay, now let's double the speed. 1 E and a 2 E and a 3 E and a 4 E and a... We go now. A7, D7, 2, 3, 4, A7, 2, 3, 4, A7. And D7, D7, A7, A7. Here comes the E7, E7, D7, A7, and on E7. Okay, back to the A1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1. Okay, now we're going to go with the ups. Here we go. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and. Say the ands out loud. It'll help Ben. And. I know you sound ridiculous when you do it. And. Oh, you can't hear my ukulele. Yep, thanks, Sean. I didn't have original sound. And. Here we go. A7, D7, A7, D7, A7, E7, D7, and on A7. Okay, harder or easier than the other key?
Easier.
Easier?
Yeah, sure.
Yeah, less movement in that hand. It's less familiar chords, but once you get it, it's less movement. Yep.
Just a word of encouragement. I've done this several times before, and the first time was very, very difficult, and now it's much easier. So
Good.
Persevere.
Good. Thank you, Sean, by the way, for letting me know that. I totally just missed pressing. I have a button there that switches between talk and music mode. Okay. Let's do one more thing. Let's play a song. Okay, we haven't done this, not since I'm back at least. Let's play some Elvis. My dog Elvis just barged into this room, in fact, if you heard that sound, so he can be the inspiration here. Okay, so let's go through these chords as well. Oh, no, hold on. I know what I wanted to do, though. I wanted to play blues in 6/4 time. I knew there was something else I was going to do. Where are you? Okay. This might be difficult, just as a heads up. Okay. So we've been counting 1 and 2 and 3 and 4, right? This is 4/4 time. 4 beats where the emphasis is on each of the 4 beats, right? The other way of doing music, there's lots of other ways, but the other main way that you'll do it is counting in 3s rather than in 4s. So 6/4 time is going to kind of be a combination of the two. So what we're going to do is do 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 4, 5, 6, 4, 5, 6, 1, 2, 3. So you got to do it with me, and we're going to have the emphasis on the 1 and the 4. And what's difficult here is the 1 is down and the 4 is up. 1, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 1, 2, 3, 4. Say it with me. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Make sure you're saying the 1 and the 4 hard too. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Here we go. A7, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 1, 2, 3. D7, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. A7, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 1, 2, 4, 5, 6, 1, 2, 3. A D7, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 4, 5, 6, 4, A7, 4, 5, 6, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 1. Okay, E7, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, D7, 4, 5, 6, 4, 5, 6, A7, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, E7, and on an A7. Okay, how was that? Was that hard? Were you able to just like jump in? Was it easy? What was the feeling on that? Mid. Sean's giving mids. Okay.
It made sense. I think I was sort of, it was getting the sense of breaking out of 4 and then move. Because I'm going, wow, I'm really on this chord for a while. I'm so glad I found it here. But when do I switch? Oh, no, I switch.
So it's still gonna be a 4 count in the background. So there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 1. So that's happening 3, 4, and 1, 2, 3, 4, and 1, 2, 3, 4. But each of those gets 3 within it. So you can call it 6/4 time. You can call it 12/4 time. You can call it 4/4 time with triplets. There's lots of ways of describing what we're doing, but we're adding in the 3s and the 4s. But one of the things that's really interesting is even in most music that is based on a 3 count, and there's all sorts of songs that are 3 counts, including pop songs that you'll hear. Even in those songs, you tend to have collections of measures that add up to 4s. Did that make sense what I said? So you'll still play a chord 4 times, or you'll play one chord 2 times and one chord 2 times, so it adds up to 4, even as you're counting to 3 within each of those individual pieces. So I'm not sure what that's about, but I had a music professor in college who seemed to think that it had to do with 4 chambers of the human heart. That always just felt romantic to me more than real, but I don't know. Okay. Let's see. Okay, one more song, and then maybe we will call it a day. Let's play Elvis. There we are. Okay, so going over our chords here, we have our C. We have our E minor. We haven't played this one in a while, and this is often a difficult one. This one is our index finger on that second fret down on the A string. And as long as we're on that E minor, let's go ahead and do the B7 because they're similar to each other. We're going to move our fingers up one for the B7. E minor, B7. I didn't turn on the original sound, sorry. E minor and B7. Okay, we've got an A minor, just our middle finger. We've got our F, C, G. We've got a G7 there, but if you just want to play a G, that's fine. So other than that B7 and the E minor, this is pretty straightforward. And this is also going to be in 3/4 time. So let's get into that C chord and let's get into the groove. 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. Here we go. C, E minor, A minor, and F, C, G, and F, G7, A minor, F, C, G, C again. C, E minor, A minor, and F, C, G, and F, G7, A minor, F, C, G, C. Here comes the E minor. E minor, B7. Move your fingers up. There you go. Back to E minor and B7. E minor and B7. Here comes the A7. A7 and D minor, G. Back to the top. C, E minor, A minor, and F, C, G, and F, G7, A minor, F, C, G, C. And I have a wedding couple at the door, so I think I'm going to call it a day for now. That was fun, y'all. I'll see you next week.